Welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review, Episode 60. Yep, at the rate this is going at, this might be another Series 100 for anime, because, well, it just is because it's One Piece. What do you expect? Now, I am basically going back to memory lane here with this particular set of episodes. Why? Because we're at the start of Whole Cake. Now, here's the thing. Prior to, let's say, yesterday, for example, and today, I had not watched these episodes, these early episodes, in almost 5 years. And you're thinking, why? Because I moved past this arc already. Yes, as a matter of fact, this was the very arc that I had gotten to almost 5 years ago when I officially caught up with the series. Yes, I think it's about 20, 30 episodes in this particular arc by the time I finally caught up to it. And here, we're at the very start of the arc. Now, this arc is noteworthy for being, as of currently, well, prior to Wano, this was the second longest arc of the entire series, both in terms of anime and manga. Now, since Wano has surpassed both these two arcs, it is now currently the third longest arc of the whole series, at 95 episodes. Here, reviewing the first 12. Unlike usual, whenever I get a chance to notify when in the world these episodes get released, usually Funimation releases on their blog page. But due to the fact they've been hyping up the whole thing of everything moving over the Crunchyroll, I was thinking of watching the Crunchyroll. One small problem. They don't have dub episodes yet. Nope, they don't have them yet. Yeah, apparently I think Funimation's keeping the dub for this for a little while. I'm not sure exactly when in the world they're going to move all the dub episodes over. Oh, and by the way, what episodes am I covering for this particular review? Episodes 784 to 787. Yes, roughly 4 new dub episodes. And we have a boatload of new characters. And like 1 or 2, I recognize their voice actors. Everybody else, I may or may not be familiar with them. Now, I was notified about this via Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft. And I did basically ask the question, when are these new episodes coming out? 3 weeks from the announcement. Yep, 3 weeks. I think these episodes were released, like last week, I think it was. I started watching it last night, the first episode. I got about halfway through it, and now basically as of right now, I've gone for the first 4 episodes. Oh, there is a couple of new characters I forgot to basically put in here. Let's see. Well, and I believe he makes his debut in the very first episode. She does. Let's see. No, it's not this episode. I think it was next one. Oh, excuse me. It was 783 to... because I started with 783. That's what I started with. So I did 1, 2... 3. Yeah, it's basically 4. It's 783 to 786. That's as far as I got with it. Let's see if I can find her here. Aha! Found her. Yep. Okay. Now, in the case of what happens in these episodes, now, basically, in a way, we kind of have 3 split ways. And it is like this, a good chunk of this story arc. Now, it first start with Sanji riding on the Fire Tank Pirates ship, and Vito is revealed to be a big fan of his family, because they reveal a little bit of the Germa 6X backstory, where they were depicted, of course, Pekka himself did retell this a little bit later, that their exploits were told in a comic strip that apparently Vito is a big fan of. So, he basically is like so gushing at it, and of course Sanji's like, whatever. Yeah, this is probably typical for any celebrity who basically encounters a fan. Like, okay, whatever. You love my stuff, fine. But Sanji's like, I want nothing to do with these guys at all. So, Be with him chat for a while, and of course he sees her clown. He goes to his room. By the way, apparently this is actually a Retardi ship, apparently, even though he's on with the fire team hearts. So, this is probably due to somebody who is married to Gang Capone, who, by the way, does not appear in these episodes. Oh no. Gang Capone himself does not return into episode 826. I even mentioned this to Kyle Herbert. I was like, really? That's when he returns? Okay, cool. Yeah, at least he knows about it. Yes, I told Kyle Herbert on his Twitch stream of when Gang Capone was set to return to the series. So, a little while. Not very long, per se, but it might take a while for him to finally show up in the series. Well, for this arc anyways. Especially as this arc actually develops his character. Yeah, character first introduced back in the Sabaody arc finally gets some development. Yeah, so he's brought to his of course, introduced to Gatti. I believe this was actually, I don't remember who voices him, but I had to look up later. But yeah, he's a guy with a big gauntlet gun. He does play a role in a story that comes just after this arc. One of 2 cover stories that take place after this story arc. And he plays a big role in that one. Basically, unintentionally. So, basically, they get into a fight, and they're, of course, in the room. And all of a sudden, this woman shows up, which, of course, they're very nervous around her. You want to know why? This is Clifton Charlotte. Lola, yes, Lola, who first appeared back in the Thriller Bark arc, which was I believe, like, the second, I think it was, like, the arc that came just before Sabaody. This was the very arc that introduced Brooke, my favorite male character of the whole series. Where, get this, okay? So, now this is basically Sanji's first introduction to her. This actually is an early appearance by her. Yes, for some reason. Oh, by the way, she's voiced by Kate Bristol. Yep. Kate Bristol. Who's known for being the voice of Pan in DBZ. And she's also she was the child Pan in GT. She's in Black Clover. She's not been a lot of stuff, per se. I'm looking at basically her anime stuff. It's not been a lot. There was actually a certain point of time we didn't do much of anything at all. Like, she was in the series, she was Pokemon Sun and Moon, where she played Sarah. Let's see, she was X and Y. As Jessica, probably replaced her. She was in Super X Hero series I reviewed last year. And she was recently in Freetia. She's voiced as Sagusu. I believe she's a swordswoman, if I'm not mistaken, from... Yep. Yeah, that's basically her. So, yeah, I came across a really good one. I've not seen much stuff with her in it. Like, 1, 2... Oh, yeah, she's also My Brother's Mermaid as the class up. One of the many characters in love with the main character. That's 2. 3, she's in Black Clover. She's the voice of Ladali Backrell. Oh, yeah, she's the glasses woman who became an elf. Yep. And there's Freetia and Super X Heroes, and that is it. That's all I've seen her. It basically gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 6 anime for this actress. Yes. I don't know why, though. And here's the thing. She's been acting since 2002, and I'm older than she is by about 3 freaking years. Actually, more like 2. Yep. And she's the voice of Clifton. Yep. Yeah. And this woman is a mother. Yes, she's the mother of Gang Benja's only known offspring, Pez. And yes, his name after the Pez Dispenser. Yep. She only appears just briefly here, but that was actually... that was an anime original, basically. She may debut a little bit later. Yes, and then after basically Sanji's left in his room, he's not seeing it again for the rest of these episodes I'm watching here. Cut back to the Straw Hat ship, where they're basically about to enter Big Mom's... well, before they enter Big Mom's territory, they're basically fishing because Luffy ruined the food in the end of the previous arc. Though they don't count Marine Rookie, that was anime original. That was basically something they ignored. Because anime original stuff, what do you expect? So from Luffy's perspective, Marine Rookie never happened. That's way how a lot of the time the anime treats the anime original stuff. Is like, they don't. They pretty much don't count. They're pretty much just filler. Just basically fill a little bit of time before they get the whole cake. And look how that was only 3 episodes compared to G8, which was like 11 episodes. Yeah. So they have to go fishing because Luffy ruined all the rest of the food they had. So they catch a fish. And by the way, people fishing here are in fact Luffy, Chopper, Brook, and Pedro. Man, this is a hilarious seeing these 4 basically do. I get Luffy because he's done before. Though he's also occasionally peed in the ocean. No, I'm not kidding. He has done it a couple times. Nami has chastised him for doing that. And I'm like, Luffy, if you need to use the bathroom, go inside the ship. I'm sure there's a bathroom inside the ship. You don't need to pee in the ocean. It's completely unnecessary. Yes, and they finally catch fish after some period of time. Well, they also enter the boiling sea. Yes, it's a new world. What do you expect? Weird stuff happens in a new world. And also it's because it's One Piece. One Piece, a lot of stuff happens. It's really weird. And if I catch a fish, and like, oh, this fish looks kind of weird. So, Chopper goes into Sanji's locker. And of course, it's Sanji. What do you expect to find in his locker? A bunch of porn. Yes, seriously, porn mags. I'm like, does he really spend his money on this? I mean, here's the thing. This guy basically is a cook, and he spends a lot of his time reading porn. That's Sanji for you. Yeah, I thought that was a funny gag, and eventually he finds a book about fish, and like, oh crap, you should not eat the skin of this fish. And Luffy is the one who eats a good chunk of the skin. And nobody else touched it. By the way, Peckham's is in the scene. He's just lying down. You have Chopper laying on Nami during when they're in the bottom of the ocean. And it's pointed out by Pedro, mink's fur do not do well in heat. Because they're covered with fur. Yes. And I love Nami's relationship with Carrot throughout the series. Basically, Carrot kind of sees Nami as sort of like a big sister. I like the sister relationship between the two of them. And it's kind of the same thing with Chopper, with Carrot's relationship with Chopper and with Luffy. Basically, she treats them as like older siblings. Basically, it's basically a brother-sister relationship. Despite the fact that Chopper is smaller than Carrot, but he is 2 years older than Carrot. So there's that. Yeah, so Luffy basically doesn't have first expect anything until a little while. Oh crap, he's collapsed. And not long after that, the German 66 show up. Yep, but only 2 of them are seen in these episodes. The first one you see is Yanji, the youngest of the 4 sons. He is voiced by Clifford Champton. Awesome. Love this guy's work. Yeah, he doesn't do very much here. He's very arrogant until he gets kicked by his own beautiful sister. Renja, voiced by the awesome Alexis Tipton. Oh yes, I was so looking forward to hearing her voice, basically in this arc, because it's Alexis Tipton. What do you expect? In my opinion, one of the best anime voice actors that Funimation has on their staff. She is that damn good. I even met her in person at Comic-Con a few months ago. I had her sign my copy of it on my smartphone. Yeah, but this character, wow, she is so hilarious. Like, kicks her brother in the ocean and says, oh, what's this? Huh, he's like covered in poison. Delicious. You lick her lips. And then she proceeds to kiss Luffy. Everybody to blush. Even all she does is sucking out the poison. But from their perspective, she's kissing Luffy. Which kind of in a way does kind of make this Luffy's first ever kiss. Yes, Luffy gets kissed by a woman. Unlike Naruto has first unintentional kiss with Sanji. Wow, that was kind of hilarious, but sucks it all up. And you see Nami blushing the whole time. I mean, yeah, this is typical reaction to any woman in the series, any fiction I've seen. We're always shocked to see a makeout scene, like, oh my gosh. And it was so obvious that she's Sanji's sister because of the curly eyebrow. And here's the thing. Luffy does not refer to by her name the entire story arc, if you're curious. He only refers to her as Sanji's sister. Yes, seriously. That's what he refers to her as the whole time. From what I can tell, their interactions, despite the fact they're not very much, seems like, though, that basically they get along perfectly fine. Yep. And then, of course, basically that Yanjin asks Peckham's, like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I have nothing to explain to you. You're just some random guy I met. And so they just pretend this never happened, despite the fact from Renji's particular, like, I had a delicious meal. Oh, by the way, she refers herself as Poison Pink because basically butterfly. Yes, Yanji is basically the witch warrior. It's just so funny. And also they reveal the secret behind Germa 6's success, what their power is. Basically, they're science-based. Basically, the whole reason they're floating, despite the fact they're really powerful, the whole thing is technology because a lot of them are cybernetic. That does beg the question that comes to Renja, Judge's only daughter. Despite the fact she has cybernetic body, does this prevent her from having children? And also his son. Now, Sanji doesn't have it at all because he's the only one of the offspring who does not have. And Yanji does point out, though, yeah, he looks like him because they're brothers. What do you expect? And Sanji referred to as the weak one, the failure. Yes. Now, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more Poison Pink in this arc. Oh, yes, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to it all. Now, there are other characters who make their debut in this story arc. By the way, Yanja is 21. Excuse me, am I thinking? How old is his beautiful sister? His sister is 24, just a few years older. I'm like, okay, interesting. Now we get used to several of Big Mom's children in this very story arc. We are introduced to well, from what I can tell, a very beautiful woman. Demon Lady Charlotte Amelia, who is 47. Damn. But she does look 47. She looks great for her age. I mean, her depiction, I'm going to look at a picture of her. She's basically a very slim woman. Long blue hair. With heart tattoos on her neck. Like a collar just above that. And she wears a long blue dress. And it's shocking that this woman is 47. Yeah, and she's voiced by a woman named Terry Dottie. Yes. And she's only been active since 2009. Yeah, I don't know how old she is, so... Yeah. I mean, she was Virgo from Fairy Tail. Yep. Of course, she was young version One Piece. She was One Piece prior to this as young Frankie. So, basically, it's like one... Oh, yeah, she's also in High School DxD. Asakusa Baroque here, she's voiced as Valkyrie. She was in Dragon... I've watched Dragon Company, but... I have no plans to immediately review this one, mainly because, basically, it's... Oh, let's have the characters get stripped naked and a lot of time involving tentacles. Yes, seriously, that's the things happen in the series. She's in Tokyo Ghoul. Let's see. I'm looking up here. Let's see. She's in Dragon Ball Super as a child version of Jiren. She's in That Time Recurrence of Slime. And that's it. Small handful of series. But hey, she voices a beautiful woman. Yep. And she smokes. If let's say 4Kids got a chance to dub this arc, which that could never happen now because Stu's at business, they'd probably make her suck a lollipop. Yeah, because she smokes. Yep. And there are other ones. We have Randolph, who is simply put a rabbit. Yeah, as in that pesky white rabbit. As Elmer Fudd would say. Yeah, he's basically kind of like a Beast Katir, except works for Big Mom. He's voiced by Caleb Yen. That's who voices him. We have maybe a few new characters. We have Prometheus, who doesn't really speak in the episode, but he's voiced by Alex Mee. There's also Zeus, who does become a prominent character even after this arc. Voiced by Kevin D. Trinwell. Yes, a cloud. We have a sun and a cloud who work with Big Mom, of course. And there's also Napoleon. Yes, obviously about Napoleon Bonaparte. Obviously. Yeah, all because of the hat. Voiced by Aaron Campbell. Not really familiar with that one. There's also Diesel. Yes, there's a character named Diesel. He's a train guy. He is voiced by Spencer Lees. Yeah, I think he's like the second character to have this kind of power. You know, the whole thing being like almost like a... Except that the one they had before in the Silver Monarch, he basically was kind of like a train. Like a modern locomotive. This guy's like a steam engine. I'm going to ask, is he one of Big Mom's children? They don't really say. No, not really. There's also Nitro. Yes, who is a talking jelly. No, that's not a joke. They have not announced exactly who is voicing this character just yet. Nope. There's no list of... Probably because he hasn't spoken yet in the series. There's also Pudding, voiced by Jill Harris. Now, this is a name that's very familiar, even especially to me. Because this is the woman who voiced these following characters. I mean, she's known for being an overlord as Flora, as Noelle Silva from Black Clover. Yeah, she's in these two. She's also known as Smartphone as Lindsay. She's in Wrestling Role as Alita. Great character. She's a young version of Phoenix Wright. Mister, she's in Tokyo Re. Card Captor Sakura. Death March Rhapsody as Lulu. The Quintessla Quintuplus as Nino. She's Isaka Quartet reprising her role from Overlord. And, well, this is one of the more recent roles she's done. Yeah, alongside with another show, Heroines Run in the Snow. Not familiar with the series at all. If anybody likes the series, that's perfectly fine. I'm familiar with like a few of the voice actors here, but I am not familiar with the series. It seems like an Anne Rizzles type of series. But technically, part of this, she did appear once in One Piece. Part of this, appearing in One Piece Gold as a character named Rich. Oh yeah, she's also in My Hero Academia as My Lady. Let's see. Let's see if I can find her here. She is... Oh yeah, she's one of the Wild Wild Pussycats. Yep, and she's definitely voiced by her. And according to what I've heard, she is dating Dallas Reed, as in the voice of Asta from Black Clover. Yes, and she also voiced Lammy from Fairy Tail, probably one of her earliest roles. I've seen a series, great series, despite what people say about it. Yep. I think it's great, though, they chose Jill Harris to actually be in the series. Because, why not? Black Clover's not around anymore, so I guess Funimation's like, okay. Black Clover's been gone for like a year now, so we gotta give Jill Harris something to do. Put her in One Piece as Charlotte Pudding, an important character. Now you might be thinking, is Charlotte's personality similar to Noelle from Black Clover? Kind of, in a very mild sense. The fact these two would blush with her like half the time no one's trying to look. Yes. There's also a brief character named Choco Police, who is like a chief of the police. He is voiced by Michael Strander. I am not familiar with this voice actor at all. Nope. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him at all. Yeah, I am not really familiar. He must be like a fail. He's probably done not a lot. But yeah, the final episode of this arc of these episodes does see the return of Big Mom herself, where she's doing a musical. Yes, seriously, a musical. And if you're curious, is this the only time this happens this arc? The answer is no, it does not. This happens many times. Yes, if any kid watched this arc, They'd be like, ooh, candy! These characters, like, there's like candy everywhere. It's like paradise for kids. Yes, seriously. Now, I remember hearing about the reception related to this arc. Oh boy. Like, at the time, from what I've heard, the reception for this arc was somewhat negative. Like, especially the manga version of this arc, where it was not positively received. It didn't get a lot of good reception. I like Whole Cake. I think it's a good arc. But there was a lot of people really big fans of it. I mean, there's certain portions of the arc I thought was kind of dragging a bit, but that's due to that's due to totally basically their animation adaptation. But I think it's a good arc. But time will, and basically I will continue reviewing this arc, but there won't be any more reviews tonight for this one. But I'll review the next one probably tomorrow, along with the newest episode of Rise to Hero. But the very next thing I'm going to review is going to be a Comic Corner. Yep, Comic Corner. Okay, next video. Bye.